What you think it's like to work in your bedroom on your bed. What it's actually like to work in your bedroom on your bed. What you think it's like to work on the couch in your living room. What it's actually like to work on the couch in your living room.
Hey, it's Mrs. Hughes. I am a high school English teacher from North Carolina, and today we're going to be talking about how to set up a place for you to work from home. And this is really important right now because a lot of you are working from home. That includes some teachers. Now, I'm going to be working at my school, but this does involve me because in the spring of this past year, I had to work from home and I had to experience a lot of this, and I definitely had some struggles. I definitely did not work as well as I did when I was working at school. So I wanted to give you 5 tips about how to set up that at-home learning environment. So number 1 is you need to set up a space for you to work. And what I mean by that is you need to pick a dedicated place that the only thing you're really going to do there, if possible, is work on your school stuff. Now, I know that it is super tempting to work in comfortable places, especially while you're at home. For instance, the couch in your living room is a very tempting place to work. The recliner. Maybe you like to work on your bed. And those places, even though they are comfy, really do not tend to be the best places to work. One of the reasons that those places may not work as well as a work environment is because you use them as other environments. When you're in the living room, you're having snacks, you're hanging out with people, you're on your phone, you're on the TV, you might be playing video games. When you're in your bedroom, you're sleeping or on your phone or listening to music or whatever. And they really don't make for great working environments because you do other things in those areas. My suggestion is that you're going to look for a hard surface that you can sit upright and work at. Some examples might be a bar countertop in your kitchen area. Maybe you have a dining room table that you could sit at. Maybe you have a desk, or there's a desk office area somewhere in your house that you could use. Now, if you don't have those areas, then there are other things that you can do to still set up kind of that space to work. One of my suggestions is that you get a hard surface for you to write on. It may be a table that you can bring into that space to use when you're going to be working. It may be a clipboard that you can get everywhere from Walmart to Dollar Tree. My personal favorite is a lap desk, which is this. And it's a flat surface, usually with some beads or stuffing at the bottom, so that I can put this in my lap and have that flat surface to write on or work on or whatever. Even just adding that hard surface to the area can help it become more of a work environment. Because what happens in your brain is when you get this out, or your clipboard or that table, your brain says it's time to work, and it kind of switches what that environment is being used for. The other suggestion that I kind of talked about was that you sit in that upright chair. We know that when we get in these comfortable places, we start to sit like this, and then that's when you start to get sleepy. So if you can sit in a chair that's not necessarily really comfy, like a hardback chair, that is probably a better option. My advice is always, if I'm super comfortable, I'm probably not going to work well. Tip number 2 is you need to gather your mise en place. So if you are a cooking, kitchen, whatever kind of person, then you've probably heard that phrase before. So mise en place means kind of the setup that you do when you're cooking. So you know how when you watch cooking shows, they have everything in little pre-measured bowls and everything is all laid out on the counter? They never have to go to the fridge or a cabinet or whatever. That's mise en place. So really, you need mise en place for when you're working. Before you get started working, you need to make sure you have everything that you could need right there at your disposal. If you're going to need sticky notes and highlighters, you need to already have them there with you. If you think you're going to need your headphones or your laptop charger, go ahead and grab that and have it nearby just in case you need it. Are you going to need something to drink or a snack? Go ahead and have that there so that when you need it, you don't have to get up and go get it. So make sure that you have all the stuff ready before you get started, because we know when you have to go to another room to get something, that's when distractions happen. Number 3 is you need to create a routine and also schedule in breaks for yourself. When I was working from home in the spring, I struggled to follow a routine. However, when I actually sat down and made a schedule for myself, it made it a lot easier for me to follow. I also went in and scheduled breaks for myself. And here's what I mean for that. Maybe I work 8 to 10, and then at 10 o'clock, I forced myself to go take a break because I had been staring at my computer for 2 hours, and that's a long time. So no matter what, I forced myself to take a break at 10 o'clock. I went to the bathroom, I took my dog outside, I walked around, I maybe watched a little TV. You need to give yourself breaks, because when I came back from that break, I felt energized, I felt reset, and I was ready to get back to work. Try to set yourself up a schedule for the day. Maybe you do want to get up at 8 o'clock every morning and get started on your schoolwork. That's great. Maybe 10 o'clock would work better for you. Then set that as your schedule, but try to stick with it every day. The easiest schedule for you to follow would be for you to actually follow the schedule like as if you were at school. So if from 8 to 9 you're usually in first block, maybe from 8 to 9 is when you need to work on your first block work. That may work for some people and it may not work for others. Unfortunately, the only way you're really going to know is to try it. And when I say try it, I mean actually follow through with it for one day before you say this doesn't work. And I would actually write out that schedule or routine, either on your computer, on your phone, or on a piece of paper, and put it in a couple places in your house so that you remember to stick with that routine or schedule. This also includes having a cutoff time. If you are working from 8 to 3 every day and only taking really a maybe hour break for lunch, you shouldn't be working any more the rest of the day. So maybe set up a time where you don't do any more schoolwork after, let's say, 4 o'clock. Tip number 4 is you should use timers and alarms on your phone. When I was working from home in the spring, a lot of times time would get away from me and I wouldn't realize how long I had been sitting and working at my computer. I may say I'm going to take a break at 10 o'clock, but I would look up and it would be 12 and I really hadn't moved. So one way that helped me was the schedule or routine and the breaks I was talking about in tip number 3. You can actually program into your phone as alarms, so that no matter what you're doing, your phone is going to notify you if you lose track of time or you forget that it's time to take a break or it's time to sign off for the day or whatever. Another thing I do is when I really have something that I'm just getting distracted, I'm not doing a good job with it, or maybe I really just don't want to do it, I like to use timers. And the way I use timers is I say, okay, I'm going to take 30 minutes. And I'm going to put a 30-minute timer on my phone. And I have to work for 30 minutes with no distractions, no looking at my phone, no looking at the TV, no answering calls, no talking to my friends or the dog. 30 minutes of just straight working. And then when that timer goes off, I have earned my break. And I get up and I do other things I need to do. If I'm not finished, then I may come back and do another 30 minutes. But it really helps me to push myself to finish things that maybe I don't want to do. So I really suggest that you use the alarms on your phone and also set timers for yourself, especially if you really don't want to do something or you're struggling to get it done. My last tip is number 5, and it's to try and eliminate any distractions. We know that distractions are going to happen when you're at home. They happen when we're at school too. But there are some things that you can do to try and eliminate those distractions. This right here, your phone, is probably your number one distraction. It is for me. So here's what I do with my phone. If I am really struggling to leave my phone alone, sometimes I will put it in another room. Now, that's not fun, but if I can't stop looking at it or people can't stop messaging me, the best way for me to deal with it is to put it in another place. Also, if you're really lazy like me, sometimes you can just put it on the other side of the room and you're too lazy to go get up and get it. That sometimes works for me too. Another thing I do is I put my phone on silent or airplane mode or turn it off. Even if it's nearby me, that can sometimes keep me from noticing that 50 million people have messaged me or tried to call me. Some other distractions that can come up are things like the TV or other apps and websites or videos and music on your computer. And that's one of those things where if it's the TV or video games, try to move yourself to a room where that won't even be an option. If it's things on your computer that are distracting you, sometimes that timer idea that I was talking about can really help. Another distraction is things that need to be done. For instance, my dog needing to go to the bathroom. That's something that has to be done. I have to take my dog outside to go to the bathroom. But it's a very welcome distraction when I don't want to do work. So one way I fix that is I take her outside before I start any big projects or work that I need to do. Same thing goes with if you need to do laundry or something else in your house, some kind of chore that you're supposed to do. Maybe you take care of that first thing in the morning so it's not a distraction throughout the day. So those are my 5 tips for setting up an at-home learning environment. I really hope that you have a great semester, and I hope that eventually we'll be back to normal. But here's the deal. These tips can help you throughout life, not just right now. If you're planning on going to college, you're going to have to learn to work from your dorm room or your apartment where there will be tons of distractions. Also, as you become an adult, sometimes you may have to do some work at home and there may be distractions. So these are just some good skills to have in your back pocket. Make sure you actually take some time to follow through with these tips. Make sure that you create a space for you to work in that will make sure that you're productive and getting everything you need to get done. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again later. Bye.